And it also affects the way our nervous systems feedback our body's position in space. As if you are hunched over and then you start looking down, your head will then go up as we are able to look forward so we can see for predators and prey. So we know where we are in the world. Welcome to Fueling Your Life, episode 5. Today we are going to talk about sitting at a desk all day, what it's doing to your body, how it's affecting you, and how we can work as much against it as possible. Because the truth is that we are not built to sit in a chair all day. We're not built to sit in front of the computer all day. Throughout human evolution, we have been moving around, sitting around the fire camp when it got dark, when we had hunted and moved the whole day. Our primary thing that we did have been movement, have been activities, but now we are primarily sitting down in a couch, in an office chair, in front of our computer. In this episode, we will discuss what happens when we sit at a desk. And there's a range of bad things that actually happen to our bodies when we sit in a chair all day. And the simplest thing to start with is simply that we are not using our legs. And it's very simple. If you don't use it, you lose it. So when we don't using our legs, we're not walking around. That basically means that we lose the strength in our legs, but we can also lose muscle mass. But this not only causes that we lose strength and muscle mass, but can also cause various other problems. So for example, most people will probably have underdeveloped hamstring, glutes, and hip raises. And these muscles we use actually when we are going to stop or we are walking backwards. But as we are, for most part, walking forward, then it's only our calves, our quads that are getting trained. And when we have muscles that are quite weak, that will actually create a circumstance where our muscle can become quite tight. So that means our glutes, our hamstring can be over tightened very easily because they're not strong enough. And it might seem counterintuitive that you will think that, okay, if you train your muscle, then they will get tight. But there is also the other point, if they're too weak, then they will get very quickly tight. And it's kind of a conditioning of the muscle that the more you train it, the more it can also resist before it become too tight. And this is also why a guy like toe over knee guy had got very popular, because a lot of people dealing with knee pain and have multiple knee surgeries that don't really help them. And what it actually comes down to is not that they have a problem with the knee, but with a problem with all the muscles around the knee because they're too weak. So what he basically specializing in is that he focused on all the opposite muscles in your legs, which is the hamstring, the glutes, and the hip raises, with exercises as dragging a sled backwards, that you're walking backwards, that you train your hip raises, that you do the Nordic curl for your hamstring. And these exercises really help you conditioning your muscle in the legs to be more solid and get the strength back. And in that way, you will also support your knee. And for a lot of people, it has helped them to avoid knee pain. It had help them to deal with knee pain and also avoid operations. It's of course not a one size fit all for everyone, but it works for a lot of people. So, going back to when we get over tight hamstring and glutes, what happens when we get a muscle or multiple muscles that are over tight? It will lead to some sort of pain, but usually the pain is never in that area. So if you are very tight glutes and you are tight hamstring, then you will actually feel it as a lower back pain. So that means that you have to start working on your glutes and your hamstring, not stretching it, but actually start like working the muscle, do exercises, and then after also do some stretching. And it's just simply due to a lack of activity, and that can also make us gain more excessive weight. That as we're not moving as much, we are not really burning the calories that we are taking in, and when we gain more weight, it also have health consequences. So we can get diabetes, that can result in heart diseases and all kinds of other diseases. So it's just become this spiral of worse and worse conditioning or health problems. But it can also lead to a bad posture that can impact of course our spine and give us this forward neck where you push your head forward. And it can be very bad for our whole nervous system and other things, or other system in our body, as our spine and our hips is the foundation of our body and is where everything is controlled. And it also comes into our next topic about the negative impact of bad posture. Because when we have a bad posture, depending on where it is, then some muscles, they might be lengthened so they are completely outstretched. Some might be more compressed and shortened, so we don't really use it. And when we sit down, you will especially see that with our hip flexors, that they will be shortened. We can have, for example, in our neck, if we have the head forward, we will have our neck muscles, our traps in a more stretched position, which can lead them to be over tight, and it can lead to more pain in the back. You can get headaches, and it's also something that when your head go forward, the more degrees it go forward with, it actually adds, I think it's a kilo or something like that, that it adds to for your body to hold your head. And it also affects the way our nervous systems feedback our body's position in space. As if you are hunched over and then you start looking down, your head will then go up as we are able to look forward, so we can see for predators and prey, so we know where we are in the world. And there's a normal tendency that our body has, that it always will compensate in another part of the body. So if you have a problem in your lower back, then it actually will compensate all the way up to your head. So the problem is maybe not even you have a forward your head, but it can actually be a problem way lower. And it can also impact other systems, so how you process food, how your muscle strength are, engage your body, as also your shoulders can be rounded and forward, but also the way we present ourselves. So someone who has shoulder forward going down. It doesn't look that confident. It doesn't look as attractive. And that's actually what one of my teachers from a boarding school way back told me. Keep telling me, Jesper, straighten your back. Stand straight. And I didn't know what he meant before 3 years after that. Actually, by standing straight, chest up, hold the head up, you look way more confident, you look way more attractive, and you also become way more presentable. That you're able to stand up straight. And you can also see it from chiropractor videos. If you watch some of the long ones, then you will be able to see that they actually focus a lot on the spine and the hips, and it's actually every time is there they do it's the place where they start doing the work. So they will start loosening up some muscles, tightness, and then they will start adjusting the spine and make sure everything align. Because in that way, everything else will start aligning. And what they always suggest is that you walk afterwards, you drink a lot of water, and going into how we can improve our posture, our body. One thing for me that really helped a lot was, I think it was back in 21. So I did a lot of walking. I tried to make sure that during the summer I walked the 10,000 steps. And what I did was that I walk out the door, then I make sure I stand straight up, shoulders back, chest up, head up, and then I just walk and make sure that I hold a straight back. And I kept walking like that all the 10,000 steps. And over time, doing it multiple days in a row, my posture actually improved. And I got a lot better posture, standing up straight, shoulders back, chest high, up with the head. But we can also do this when we're just sitting at a desk. So instead of have a normal desk, buy an elevated desk, one you can with a controller get up and go up and down. In this way, we can stand up most of the day, which will be better for us. We can stand up most of the day, have our arms in a good position, so we can keep the shoulders down, and we can look straight into the computer screen. In this way, it helps us keep the back straight, and we can just stand there until we cannot stand any longer. Then go down, take a 10 minutes break on the chair, and then just keep doing it. And just do it for as long as you can during the whole day. It's way better for us that we can stand up, and in the beginning it might be a little bit hard as we are not used to it. Our muscle doesn't have the strength. We're not conditioned to do it, so you slowly have to add to it. And another thing you can do if you're really hardcore is you can add a treadmill, so you have a treadmill desk. So you can go on the treadmill maybe as you are doing Zoom calls or maybe a little bit of work. So then you can also get your steps in. But there are also some good exercises to help fix our posture. So you can buy these pull-up bars for the door frame, and you can every day do somewhere between 30 seconds to 60 seconds where you just hang in the bar. So in this way you will end up straightening out your back. Another thing is to train your upper back, so you get more strength in your back by doing pull-ups. You can also do back extension, that's more for the lower back. And you can also do hyper extension, which also help decompress the spine. And especially if you're already working out, if you're doing deadlifts, or Roman deadlifts, something like that, then the high weight station is very good to decompress your spine, as the deadlift is very tough on your back, especially if you not have the best form. So it can help decompress it when you're in a deadlift, more compress your spine. And if you have weak muscle, weak glute muscle, weak hamstrings muscle, you have lower back pain, what you can do is actually you can train your hamstrings by do single leg RDLs. If you don't want to go to the gym, you can also do hip hinges, and you can do kickbacks, side kicks for the glutes. But one good thing will be to get a foam roller, because then you can foam roll your hamstrings and your glutes afterwards, and you can get them quite cheap. And that will be a very good combination to both loosen up the muscles but also strengthen them. And if you're in a gym, you can of course do your hamstring curls. That are machines for the glutes. Another for the glutes is of course the Bulgarian split squats, if you do it correctly. And I will not recommend doing the deadlift, as it's a very hard exercise to do. So you can do maybe something like a Romanian deadlift. Maybe don't lift too much, but just control the movement up and down. You can do dumbbell Romanian deadlift, and in this way you only go down to your knees, and it can be a bit better for you, as you don't have to do the full range of motion up and down as you do in a deadlift. And with this said, that was everything from this episode. So if you enjoyed, hit the thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I'll see you in the next episode. This is Fueling Your Life podcast. See you next time. Close Jesper. We out.